Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Friday, May 3rd, 2024. That is 4 years, 2 months, and a bunch of days since we began this community all over the world. It's been so powerful to create this community with friends from everywhere. Pete from Paris, Penny, who's here on Instagram, reminding us that it's broadcast 1043. It's so beautiful to see you. And Joyce, Mordechai, Barry, Dale, Rosa, Linda, good morning. Valerie, Hineni to you too. Dale and Shari, Debbie and Patricia, good morning. Hi, Lisa. Hope that you are well. Hi, Sunday. It's good to see you. Robert, nice to see you, my friend. It's been a long time since Sharon, Massachusetts. Marilyn, Valerie, I'm so glad that yesterday we were able to give you the support to take your final Columbia final online. Very complicated sentence, but I will say, really honored that you and we get to share all of this together. Fabrice, you are at Ben Gurion Airport. Please give everyone around you, just through your gaze, all of our love. How powerful it is to be together again and to be anchored in Tel Aviv because of you. Chana and Stanley, good morning. Natalie, Boker Tov. Ron and Judy, Anya and Debbie, good morning, friends. Lydia and Ellen, Helen, Arlene. If I've missed anyone, please forgive me. Raf, my beautiful boy, is with us right now. He and his brother and their beautiful mother, my wife, they are in Poland with March of the Living, bringing heart and soul and music and passion wherever they go. I'm really proud of you. Really, really proud that you're there. Thank you for tuning in, my love. Give everybody hugs for me. Arlene, good to see you. Fran, you are flying to Israel on Monday. How powerful it is to be with you as you do that. Adrian, Boker Tov. Hi, Barbara. Let's take a breath. We're going to sing a blessing, learn some Torah. Hey, Raf, this is for you. Okay. Let's take a breath. Make a blessing. Chana, sending healing to your mom, and Minna, Mazel Tov on 2 of your grandchildren graduating from college. We are celebrating a lot, even as we are also struggling a lot. And so I want to give full measure of joy and full measure of support. Let's be present. My family is in Poland. My family is in Israel. Our family is everywhere. Caroline, Mazel Tov to your daughter graduating as well. There's good stuff happening in our children's lives, in our lives. And we are very attuned to what's been happening on campus. It's important for us to be present and to offer support to every Jewish student everywhere, and to the campus professionals, Hillel professionals in particular, who are carrying our children's hearts. The faculty that is showing up for our children, housing them and comforting them. It shouldn't be necessary, but it is very, very powerful. Arlene and Penny, thank you for the correction. It's broadcast 1044, not 1043. We're not going to lose count, but at a certain point, it's just good to be together, and numbers are beyond secondary. Adrian, mazel tov to your daughter who's also graduating. That's amazing. Let's be present and send them through this learning all of our love. We honor our children with our Torah. So, let's learn a little bit. It's Parshat Acharei Mot. And in this Torah portion, we read many, many things, including the sacrifice that we also recite on Yom Kippur. Let me give you just a sketch of part of it. The Kohen Gadol, the high priest, is brought two goats, and then needing to delineate between them is part of the ritual itself. One goat will be offered on the altar as a sacrifice, and one is sent in the text of the Torah to Azazel. And we don't quite know what Azazel means, but scholars have believed that Azazel might point to some kind of goat deity in the ancient world. Why do I bring this up? Because Azazel in modern Hebrew and also in a little bit of modern Yiddish means hell. In Hebrew, if you say, God forbid, to someone, Lech Azazel, you're saying go to hell. Azazel is where you don't want to go. That's the point of this. The goat that is sent wandering into the desert is sent to Azazel. And so the power of this is unmistakable, but the moment of it is mysterious. The priest has to choose between one of two goats. And the other one, the one that isn't offered on the altar, is sent wandering into the desert. And it is literally the origin of the word, as Rose just said, scapegoat. That is where the word comes from. A scapegoat is someone that you place all of your bad feelings on and send them away. It's the ultimate othering. And part of the ritual for Yom Kippur is to recognize that that is not without its complications. So much so that Rabbi David Kasher, a phenomenal teacher whose work right now has him leading the West Coast of the Hartman Institute, the West Coast of Hadar, two beautiful Jewish learning organizations. He leads the West Coast of Hadar. He quotes the 20th century Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Chaim Berlin, Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner. A very, very powerful commentary that he wrote called the Pachad Yitzchak. This is what he says about this. Zvinei Asair Hakadom Lishnei Seirei Yom Kippur Halalu. The goat that preceded these two goats of Yom Kippur is the first Ish Sa'ir, goat man. None other than Esav, who's known as an Ish Sa'ir. It's a play on words, but Sa'ir also means hairy, and since Esav is described in the Torah as hairy, Rabbi Hutner makes a connection between the two. Why do I bring this out? I bring it out because in this case, what's the difference between Esav, who's known as the hairy one, who Rav Hutner is connecting to the scapegoat, and the one that's offered on the altar, which we would assume is of purer service. At least the Torah wants us to think in that direction. Because the goat that is offered on the altar would represent then Jacob, Yaakov, our ancestor. We have these chain of traditions and lineages that the Torah presents to us, and then that ends up being part of our every year ritual on Yom Kippur. But remember how one is chosen. The priest is called to choose between the goats, but there's nothing to identify one from the other. On the one hand, we know, because it's our ancestor, where our history comes from. And some people have used the word chosen to describe. It's one of the most complicated parts of any people's theology, not just Jewish theology. When we receive a Torah, receive an honor at the Torah and Aliyah, many of us say the blessing, Asher Bachar Banu, God, you chose us. And you might remember in Fiddler on the Roof, Tevius is talking to God and says, couldn't you choose somebody else once in a while? Because being chosen doesn't seem to end up with a good fate, with a good course of history. Our history is complicated. Now, I imagine that were I a Muslim person looking at the Quran for the history of their own lineage, I might have said the same thing. We have not had an easy history. And in this moment, even with all the tension happening on campus, I want us to remember something. That even in the Torah, the ritual that delineates between the scapegoat and the one that is offered for Yom Kippur is a matter of luck. It is not something inherently different between these goats. How we are, who we are, what our history is, and how we see the other matters quite a lot. It is true that right now, scapegoating the Jewish people is de rigueur. People are doing it. It's not healthy, it's not fair, it is only anti Semitism, no matter what anyone calls it. And the threatening of Jewish lives on campus and beyond, physical, cultural, verbal, and lots of other ways, political, that is nothing other than anti Semitism, a continuing of the scapegoating of the Jewish people for the world's ills. But this is what I want to share with you right now. Even though we have to fight with all of our souls, all of our means, all of our strategy, all of our community, and all of our allies, we have to fight against the targeting of Jews on campus and in the world. We have to fight for our friends and our family in Israel. We have to do so much fighting. We shouldn't see ourselves as inherently different. It is a matter of chance in so many ways. What is this moment of history? How do we handle it? How has history turned? Why is that goat the one that goes in a hellish direction, and this one, the one that is connected with God? It's not because anyone's better, and it's not because anyone's worse. Often human history turns on very specific moments where things could go in any direction. When President Truman recognized the state of Israel minutes after its declaration, he fought against much pressure in his administration. It shows that even in that moment of history, things could have gone a different direction. In these moments where we are fighting for clarity, honesty, truth, and accountability, things could go in any direction. And were it not for people like Valerie, I'm really thinking about you, fighting the good fight for the culture of campus to be one that is correctable. Fighting for this does not assume that we're going to win the fight. We're going to have to see these moments of history as very fragile, where things could go in this direction or that direction, and we have to fight for it to go in a direction that is healthy. And we shouldn't in turn scapegoat anyone else. That's a hard lesson to hold on to right now. We shouldn't other people for othering us. We have to hold them accountable. We have to hold society accountable. We have to show up. We have to demand that no one forgets what we've been carrying in and on our chests. It is incredibly powerful, friends, to be part of a people that does not forget. We do not forget. Never. And we will show up over and over and over for our people. And when we are no longer on the ropes, pushed into a corner, where we will, with force, push ourselves out of course, we will make sure that we continue to show up for others. We do not other anyone else. I'll remind you of a story that I shared from the border of Ukraine and Poland 2 years ago, where UJA brought me and a group of rabbis to bear testimony and to bring back word, and to show solidarity and support with Ukrainian refugees and the Jewish community working very hard to continue to take care of them. I remember meeting with an Israeli paramedic who had set up an Israeli flag and a medical tent literally right outside of the border of Ukraine into Poland, the first tent, the closest tent to the border itself. We watched refugees walk across. And I remember speaking to him, and in Hebrew, I've shared this story many, many times. He said to me, he said, Sholim oti babayit. He's an Israeli volunteer paramedic. He says, so they asked me back home, he meant Tel Aviv, Sholim oti babayit, Bodkim mi Yehudi lifnei shozrim lahem? Do you check who's Hebrew? Do you check who's Jewish before you help them? And he said that he responded to them, Lamadnu lifnei shmonim shana. We learned 80 years ago al seleksia, what a selection looks like. Lo osim et zeh. We do not do that. We show up as Jews with the best of who we are, fighting for humanity and the best of what it can be. We have to be cautious in our legitimate rage and our well-founded fear. We have to be cautious not to other anyone else. Yesterday we talked about, while fighting monsters, not becoming monstrous. We have to make sure, friends, that we will show up as holy people, representatives of a holy tradition that grows and evolves and represents the best of what a human being is. As I shared yesterday, b'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel liot ish. In a place where people are not acting like humans, be human. That takes enormous discipline, my friends. Enormous. We are going to model for our children what it is to show up and never wield our tradition as a weapon. It was incredibly powerful to see the contrast on countless campuses, from the Sorbonne to UCLA to Columbia to Princeton to Yale, countless places, Binghamton too, just yesterday, to see what a rally that is anti-Israel looks like, and it is weaponized and shouting and dehumanizing and delegitimizing. And what is the counter-protest from the Jewish community? Singing Am Yisrael Chai, singing Hatikva, demanding the right to be. There's a difference in tactics, there's a difference in nature, not an inherent difference in the possibilities of the human beings who are on that side. But I will not other them as I fight for my own safety. Am Yisrael Chai. As Fran just so eloquently put it, that's why she now wears Hirsch on her back. Rage is difficult to control. I have our children in my eyes all the time. And while we fight, and we're going to continue to fight, let's make sure that we don't dehumanize anyone. We've got work to do, friends. Let's remain human as we fight. And let's give ourselves the gift of Shabbat as we get ready. I'm going to sing a Shabbos song. You are welcome to put on your dancing shoes, and then we'll sing Hatikva on this 209th day since October 7th. We hold our whole family in our hearts, wishing them only safety, dignity, and love. And may those with cruelty grow a conscience. Friends, thank you for the corrections, everyone. I based my numbers on an earlier video I didn't count correctly. Today is 210 and broadcast 1043, and all of that is too much. But we aren't enough. So I bless you to know that you're enough, and that we're going to keep on counting until we all stand together, finally whole as a family. Let's send our hearts to the east. Kolon balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvatenu hatikva bat shnot alpayim liot am chovshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim liot am chovshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom. Take care, everybody. See you on Monday.